Welcome back. Fast fashion and overconsumption have been a problem plaguing the fashion industry for some time. But there's a solution, and Hector Diaz, AKA Kurriizma, aims to blaze a trail, showing others the way by creating fashion using only secondhand clothing and scraps to make new fabric that can be woven and deconstructed to create other pieces through a process known as negative waste. Hector is here now, along with some of his models, to show us his styles. Welcome, Hector. It's nice to have you here.
Pleasure. Thank you so much for having me, Maggie.
And we look forward to seeing what each one of your gorgeous models is wearing. But first,
Absolutely.
Hector, tell us a bit more about your creations. How long have you been at this, and why do you focus on sustainability?
Of course. Well, ever since I was a child, growing up in New York and, working in a tailor factory with my grandmother, sustainability has always been a forefront in my business and in my brand. During my career in high school, and then eventually when I went to SCAD, during the pandemic in 2021, it was a large challenge for me, and having to basically, adapt to the situations. I looked at what everything was around me, and I said to myself, there's so much clothing, there's so many things that people are taking for granted. And so I think I wanted to give them new life and repurpose them. And so that led me to basically creating my own brand and forming Kurriizmatic, and it's something that I wanted to put out there and share with everybody.
How big of a problem have you found overconsumption to be in your industry?
It's a large problem, I'm going to be honest with you. It's, 9 generations worth of clothing end up in landfills each year.
Really?
And so I made a stance, basically, when I created my brand, to only use secondhand materials, because there's so much things that could be repurposed, from bottle cans to basically t-shirts, fabrics, curtains, rugs, all types of practical things, all forms of just fabric and material. I kind of like just to look at it as like a canvas.
We're looking at your process right now, and it's fascinating how you're so meticulous about what you do, Hector. And I've been noticing that spiffy bag on your shoulder. It says, Visit Tampa Bay. I know that you have partnered with them, which I think is fantastic. Tell us why, and why it's important to have partnerships like this.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, with Visit Tampa Bay, first of all, I want to thank them so much for giving me this opportunity to speak with you today, as well as providing the materials and the fabrics to actually rework their old tarps into bags and various other clothing and pieces. So partnerships with my brand, as a small business owner and a designer, is very important to me, because it helps me grow, helps me expand and, reach new levels and expand the influence. And, it leads to partnerships, sponsorships, funding and all kinds of stuff. So it's very important.
So that is made of old tarps, which is incredible. And now we're going to show you what all of these fashions are made out of, and you won't believe it. They are truly incredible. Start with model
absolutely.
number 1.
So we have Bree here. She's actually wearing a combination of old fabric scraps from my days at SCAD. She has, some latex top right over here that was actually used to be an old pair of pants, as well as some scrap latex that I turned into a skirt, as well as a kind of a back draped curtain that I turned to kind of make it into a cape. And that entire bag right there is made of old leather jackets.
Old leather jackets, scraps of fabric, meticulously woven together and beautifully put together and worn by Bree. Thank you. Models number 2 and 3 are coming our way. What are they wearing?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have Brendan over here. He's actually wearing a combination of my own personal clothing from back in the day. So his pants actually are a combination of a few old dress pants that didn't fit me anymore, that I basically fused together along with an old dress lining and a twill jacket that my grandmother used to wear a lot. That kind of just tore apart after a while, so I decided to give it new life and turn it into the pants and the bag. Now his jacket is a combination of old leather jackets, as well as a few belts that I just took apart and decided to use as the fastenings for each one of them. Alanis has a unique dress over here too as well. So she's actually wearing, these are bed sheets, believe it or not. And they're also woven together with my niece's old leotard from when she was cheerleading. And the bag as well is also made from old leather jackets, and the chain is a belt.
Very nice. All right, the last 2. Tell us quickly about these.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have Zainab and Dalen here. Zainab is basically wearing a skirt that's made from the old curtain, and the top is made from scraps as well as the hat being fully woven out of t-shirts. And Dalen's outfit here is actually a old cardigan sweater with t-shirts woven into it as well, along with the legging garters being old sleeves and jackets.
Absolutely incredible. Thank you all for being here. Thank you, Hector Kurriizma. And to find out more about his mission of sustainable fashion, go to Kurriizmatic.com, and you can also find him on Instagram. And for more information on art in Tampa Bay, go to visittampabay.com. We'll be right back.